Noah Kulwin of the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Asmongold apology time.
Yeah, are you familiar with what's going on?
Am I familiar? Absolutely. I'm familiar with Asmongold. I played WoW Classic when they brought it back, which meant that I became aware of him. And
you agree with everything.
I agree with.
Sign off on everything that he's ever said.
All I know is that he got a lot of attention this week for saying something, and I don't know what it was, but I'm sure it was good, and I endorse every syllable.
These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways.
Yeah. So, no, chat, he knows what Asmongold said. He's joking. He's being sarcastic.
I was joking.
When he said...
Actually, no, I want your chat to believe that I was just too captivated by Asmon's amazing looks and the whole mise en scène of his streaming den.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's watch Asmongold, my plans moving forward.
Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you all about what my reason was for getting suspended on Twitch and also what my plans are going forward. I'm going to try and structure this video into two parts, where the first part is going to be me talking about the Twitch suspension, second part is going to be talking about myself. And the first thing I want to start off with is something that I know it might sound a little bit insincere because of how ridiculous this is, but I really mean it, and if you listen to the whole video, I hope you can see why. Everybody who's come and spoken out and talked to me and said stuff about me, aside from the, oh, you should kill yourself or something like that, I want to say that I really appreciate you. And I think this has been something that's a long time coming. And I actually think that this is something that not only I deserved, but it's also something that I needed. And I want to talk about what the reason for that is, but I want to start off and just make sure that that's actually very clear.
You want to know something controversial that I'm going to say that everyone's going to get mad at me about? I don't think this is specifically because he got yelled at and he got banned. I do legitimately think, he's a very weird guy, okay? Asmongold is a very weird guy. I don't think he's being insincere when he says, like, I have changed my mind on this. We'll see. Only time will tell. And this doesn't mean that his mind has changed on, like, LGBTQ representation in video games or any number of different like right-wing things that he says on a regular basis. But on this hyper specific note, he might actually have a different perspective. Only time will tell, but let's continue.
So a couple of days ago, I made some comments about Palestine and also about Hamas and some just general, basically opinions that were trivializing the genocide that's happening there. And I don't really want to like mince words or like try to like, oh, I wasn't justifying or, promoting it. I said something about it that was disgusting. I said that I didn't care about.
He admits it's a genocide. Yeah, that's the reason why I'm saying it's like a very weird opinion that he had that he said over and over again, while he also simultaneously does recognize what Israel is doing. It's just weird, man. It's incomprehensible. It's indecipherable.
I mean, okay? It is also like he went like more than overboard. You know what I mean? Like it's like I'm sure that like the back channel stuff that he's been getting has been like really substantial. And yeah, I mean, I don't think any of this is insincere in the same way that like when you touch a hot stove, you don't insincerely scream "ow," even though you maybe knew it was hot. There's like this is a pretty easy to see consequence coming from this.
I think he's dialed in on Reddit a little I think this is when you Reddit too hard on main. Like that's what it is. When you go on Reddit and you see even like liberal subreddits that you don't even agree with because they're woke and gay, being like, yeah, no, actually Muslims are barbaric savages that deserve death and destruction.
Well, then listen, the Mossad guys who've been posting on Reddit all day, they earn their keep on that one.
Dude, no, they own Reddit.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
For sure. And I'm not doing it like Jews own Reddit type shit.
No,
like I'm saying specifically the American State Department and the Hasbara operations literally own every fucking like liberal and news adjacent, politics adjacent subreddit. They just straight up run it like a goddamn tight ass ship. I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going.
Innocent people getting killed by another force, by anything. And I think that that's a horrible disgusting, mean-spirited thing to say.
The comments about you on his subreddit and his video are fucking despicable. Yeah, dog. They don't like me. What do you mean? Dog. Virtually every single person like that. If you're of one mind, when you see like LGBTQ representation in media and you get upset about it, okay, outflanking Asmongold in many instances, or having the same opinion that he does on a lot of these issues, you are not going to like me. Okay, what do you want me to do? Like, there's nothing I can do about it. There's a lot of people that are not exactly fond of my worldview and the things that I actually represent. Hasan says the most unhinged stuff on what the. Why is this the first comment? Bro, what? Okay, that's weird, dog. He has a fucking apology video for 20 minutes and the first comment is Hasan with a double S. Says the most unhinged stuff on Twitch, but never gets banned. First of all, I have been banned.
That's good, man.
I have been banned. I've been banned more times than Asmongold. The fuck are you talking about? I got banned for saying racial slurs. Cracker was the racial slur that I said, and I got banned for it. Did you know that?
I think I did, actually. Of course I did, yeah.
So it's so funny. And when it was his birthday, the whole Twitch staff made a video congratulating him. It just shows the bias. You can't have an opinion different than them. Otherwise, you'll be banned. Yeah.
I mean, the first two comments, vile. Third comment, pretty good.
Yeah.
Third comment was a clean the room stream would be the most viewed thing of all time.
I mean, that is true. He has done that before, I think.
And
well, yeah.
I don't necessarily think that it was really racist, really. But when I'm using language like Palestinians or like the people there, rather than what my real language was, I've always been very outspoken and very against religious extremism. And I still am. I think that any religion and any way of thinking that's going to cause you to put other people in like kind of positions below you as like, you know, like gay people, women, people with disabilities, anything like that, I think that that's a really bad position to have, and I really don't like that. And I think that my problem and my fault here was that I was making a criticism of religious extremism, and I made no effort. And I feel like almost, I've rewatched the clip, right, or a number of the clips, and it's like I've almost made an effort not to draw a distinction between the two things. I think that a lot of us here can easily say that we're against religious extremism, and I am. But whenever I categorize everybody in the area as this, like, group, then I'm the
Bill Maher
asshole,
comparison really is kind of apt. Because, like, he's basically saying, like, I didn't do the Bill Maher exception.
Yeah.
I didn't say
I think that's what
religious extremists.
No, I think that is literally the problem. He Reddited too hard. And I think he went Reddit on main, and people were like, what the f***? Like,
oh,
what?
wow.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Oh, that Reddit post looks not good.
Yeah, we'll look at that in a second. And the reality of the matter is there's like a permissible, I always talk about permissible bigotry. There's a level of permissible bigotry, especially when it comes to Muslims, especially when it comes to Arabs, that you can get away with. The problem, however, is if you go beyond that, people are going to be like, ugh, even people who agree with you are going to be like, ugh, that's a bridge too far. And I think that's the mistake that he made. He like repeated Reddit stuff, and Reddit is insane about this kind of thing. And Bill Maher, on the other hand, never takes it to that degree where he doesn't like openly say these are all barbaric
Bill Maher comes
monsters.
at it from like not just like Reddit atheism, but like, you know, he's the guy who made like Religulous like 20 years ago or whatever. Like he's been beating this fucking.
But he loves Israel.
He's been beating this damn drum for many, 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 many years, and so he kind of has, I think, just a more refined sense from years of practice on Club Random, you know, years with the blade. He knows how to wield it.
Yeah, I think it's also, I mean, a lot of the space that those guys occupy, like the new atheists that they occupy, is basically just like giving a permission structure to liberals to also be like gross, disgusting monstrous pieces of shit about Muslims in general. It's a way to like intellectualize bigotry.
Yes,
That's what it is. There's no other way to look at it.
You were just finding like a scaffolding on which to hang hang your personal.
Yeah,
like,
it's like
hang-ups.
no, you don't understand. Like, I'm not a neocon, but I also think that
I'm not a neocon. I just like agreed with everything David Frum said in this like despicable tweet or Atlantic article.
Yeah, exactly. It's it happens. There's like a woke way of repackaging like similar antiquated, similar stereotypes. Liberals do this for black people, black men specifically, on a regular basis. There are even like black authors that play a role in this as well, giving a permission structure for liberals to say black men are all homophobic. They got to clean out their, they got to clean their community of queer phobia and the misogyny. And it's like, usually that is done in a way to basically make liberals also fucking feel, specifically white liberals, also feel that they have the opportunity to say certain things about black men, calling them, violent or bigoted.
The Obama thing this week was especially where, I mean, Felix, we'll probably say more about it later, but like he went off on it on Twitter correctly.
Yeah, Obongler.
Yeah, saying that like because Obama's like, black men need to, you need to get over your misogyny, and it's like, black men are like the most reliable group of men to vote for Democratic candidates across the board. Yeah.
The reason why I brought up the permission structure that liberals look for in terms of like saying similar things is because this is the exact same shit when it comes to Islamophobia. Liberals don't want to say Muslims are barbaric, savage apes that are constantly looking to like non-Muslims or whatever, in the same way that like a Groyper or a Nazi or a neocon might want to say, or, your average Israel defender on Twitter. But they look for a way to intellectualize that exact same sentiment, right?
Like in general, there's like a sort of like acceptable bigotry.
So there's
Asmon's problem is
he went above.
Yeah.
And you cannot cross that boundary, because when you do, even people who would otherwise agree with you kind of feel weird about their support for it. And I think that was a major mistake for Asmongold, that he crossed that boundary. If he had kept it to like some sort of like intellectualized argument, then that would have been one thing, right? You just can't say the quiet part out loud. His fan base might have liked it, but obviously there was going to be an understandable sea of pressure from outside forces. Let's take a look at the rest of the statements.
I had a lot of you guys tell me that. And it's taken me, this is what's so crazy about it, is that I think this has been going on now for like 2 years. I think that I've been slowly devolving into the most mean-spirited, I don't really even know what the word is for it. Just like the most mean-spirited, rude, like nasty, like just callous, psychopathic version of myself. I think that I've been devolving into this. And a lot of my
sorry, that's like the funniest thing to say with like
bad.
that.
I mean,
well,
it's
no,
good
just like no, but it's so funny to say that like in that room.
I know, but it's a decent amount of self-awareness, I think.
Friends
I like
told
it.
Me this.
I don't disagree with the sentiment. It's just the comedy of it is like
I know,
a little
my
much.
tolerance for seeing this
it's like,
is so much worse than yours.
I want to like look past it, but I kind of can't.
I'm going to be honest with you. For me, it's like I know what like the average Twitch watcher's room looks like. I know what like other Twitch streamers' rooms look like. So for me,
he's doing representation.
When I see this, when I see a man saying these things, I'm like, oh, that's growth. Like that's legit. I don't like notice the discarded cans that are, or the discarded, styrofoam cups that are in the corner here, because like I'm so used to it.
Just eyes glaze
it's
over.
Like this is the norm in this corner of the internet.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at this and thinking like I would love to see my mom. I would like to do a stream with like my mom reacting to seeing this room.
Oh God.
My dad has told me this. He said, you've got to chill out. You've got to calm down. I've been like, oh, that old man doesn't know what he's talking about. And I've finally had some level.
Asmon's dad is a fan of mine, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. And apparently they like duke it out all the time on politics. So that's like an interesting dynamic.
Accountability for that.
Rock on.
And thank God. I look back.
Also, I'm sorry. this is, and this Space Ace is correct. This is exactly how Karl Marx lived. We know this because there
are a couple really
the
big
spying agencies were in utter shock at the filth that he lived in.
The thing to remember is that, like, one, it was the 1800s.
Okay,
like pasteurization was like, you know, like a concept then, like they were still working on. And the other thing is that, you know, he was a social dude. Like he went, like, that was always the, you know, part of why I gave him a pass on that was that, like, he was having like drinking parties and carousing with other people and what have you. And so, like, yeah, he lived like that, but it's because he was out doing stuff.
At some of the things that I've said and done over the past 2 years. And I don't think that I've been wrong about everything, obviously, right? But there have been ways that I've communicated and ways that I've acted that are indefensible. And I think looking back on it, it's just disgusting. And it's something that when you get lost in the sauce and you get fixated around like listening and reading feedback and, you know, just getting hyper fixated, this is like your entire life, you lose a perspective on reality and you lose a perspective on the world. And I think that perspective was brought into perspective yesterday and the day before when I was making comments like this. And I feel so stupid. It's crazy. So I'm getting all these people making negative comments toward me. Everybody is telling me like, oh, go kill yourself. I hate you. Everything like this.
Yeah. When was it when Lil Bear, you got to find this clip. The first time I said Asmon's not going to like doing political commentary streaming, because when it wasn't the first time I ever said it was during the Johnny Depp stuff. But that wasn't when he fully became a political commentary streamer. He started doing political commentary streaming like this past year. And I said, I think it was when Trump got shot. It could have been when Trump got shot. But I was like, he is not going to enjoy this at all. This is not for, you have to have either full-blown sociopathic tendencies or at least like genuinely believe the cause that you are advocating for to stick it out for this long, or just have like nothing else going on. And for Asmongold, he has something else going on. Like he could just fucking play WoW and just I don't know, play video games and talk about like some of the cultural stuff in video games from a right-wing culture war perspective. But like the moment that he starts like leaning in to like straightforward political commentary, watching like a RFK speech or something and calling him based or whatever, that's when you have fully dropped yourself into a treacherous space, a very awful space. He likes it. You are wrong. I feel like he's literally saying I've become a psychopathic version of myself that I do not like. For the past 4 minutes, I feel maybe I'm wrong. You're telling him to shut up and dribble, dog?
Yes. I mean, yeah,
kind of.
I mean, you know, but it's also like, it's because when he stopped dribbling, he really fucked himself.
By the way, this is not correct. He does not have a lot of yes men around him. I know the people around him. I literally openly said, have a conversation before saying stuff like this. Have a conversation with Wake. Or have a conversation with Tips, who is literally a Syrian Muslim refugee that, you know, was born in America and grew up as a Muslim in the United States of America in a post 9/11 world. Like,
was he the one who posted something on Twitter?
That's his like the co-owner of his organization. That's his like business partner. And yes, we read the Twitter post from him. So, I think. The idea that he has a lot of yes men around him is actually unironically wrong. I think that he just doesn't have, I don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes, but what I can tell is like, I don't think he just has anyone around him. I think he just,
the conversation earlier was on the right page about how it's just like, he's, you know, it's like inhaling Reddit and then responding to what you see on the, you know, like not thinking, responding very emotionally, etc.
Yeah, I think,
and just like, you know, Freudian slip after Freudian slip where you just say what you actually mean that other people would know to filter.
Yeah. So that's what I think. overall, I always look at a situation like this and think to myself, like, what do you stand to gain from apologizing versus what do you, especially if you have such a fucking primed right wing audience?
Oh my God.
You don't stand to gain anything from apologizing, really. You stand to gain. You stand to benefit from doubling down and just like making,
especially in today's environment, double down, ignore, move on, switch to the next thing. Every incentive is there. I mean, it's, if anything, it's okay.
You are more biased and extremist than Asmon in terms of political views.
You are biased. You are biased.
I am biased.
You are biased,
and also more extremist than Asmon in terms of political views. He's right. Because I believe in things like what? Universal healthcare.
Yeah, listen, man. Free healthcare or like barbecuing people in the Middle East alive. You decide which is extreme.
It's like, hey, can we not give $7 gazillion to Israel so that they can fucking keep lighting the entire region on fire and instead use it to fix the fucking potholes here? Which, by the way, me and Asmongold probably are in agreement on that, for the record. You know. Let's continue.
Do you know who reached out to me? And they wanted to talk and have a conversation and see if I was okay. It's people that were Islamic and people that were family in Palestine. And how humiliating is that? How absolutely humiliating is that? And these were the people I was trying to say were bad. And I feel like such a fucking stupid asshole. I really do. I've always been I guess like I've always been kind of like an atheist. And even as a young kid, I was raised Roman Catholic, and I was always very defiant towards it. And I've always
when he said Islamic, he's not saying like he's trying. He means well.
Said a negative
he's
opinion
trying to be fucking weird.
And I've
and
also had a negative opinion of religious cultures. And I think that really. I think that opinion is definitely shaped by the media that I've created, and the media I've created for myself, and then also just the media that exists, the media that I've chose to seek out as well. And I think that media has allowed me to have certain predispositions and certain biases that the truth is that don't have any sort of relation to what my own real life has been experienced. Or my own real life experience has been, excuse me. And so I've been spending a lot of time talking to those people, and I've seen people like fans of mine, like I had viewers messaging me on Discord, like, you know, why are you saying this? Like, do you want to talk? Do you want to, like, you know, I'm willing to talk to you, and like, you know, like let's try to work this out, right? We love you. And I scrolled up on their messages, and these are people that messaged me in like 2016, 2017, 2018, like, I love your content, I love your stream, I love you, right? And now they get to hear this from me, and I just feel like such a stupid, belligerent fucking asshole. I really do, and I'm sorry. I really am. I think that it's extremely fair to criticize religious extremism, and I think that it's extremely unfair to categorize everybody in part of that group as religious extremists. I think it is, and I'm really sorry for that. I've just been a fucking dick, and it's weird because yesterday I woke up and I didn't know if I was going to get suspended or not, and I had planned on streaming it. It's a heartfelt apology. And,
I mean, he's doing that thing where he's slicing it so that it's about the religious extremist or not. But like he talked about like fans messaging him, people who had been streamers, people watching his stream for like 8 years ago, who are now like, why would you say this? Why would you do that, etc. And I mean, it's like I'm like I said, I'm curious to see where he goes.
I'm not surprised by this. But I wonder if, like, for the uninitiated, they might be surprised by it. But also beyond that, I do think that there will be still a shit ton of people who will, of course, understandably say, oh, he's doing this to save face. Or understandably say, oh, he's just like, he's not being sincere. Or understandably say, I still don't accept it because what he said was fucking unconscionable. I've seen, like, children in plastic bags, like their destroyed bodies, their mutilated bodies being shoved into plastic bags with their parents. Like, when you see that every fucking day for the past 12 months, like, it changes your perception a little bit when you hear someone reiterate the same exact fucking indifference that people have to that kind of death and destruction, or even, dare I say, champion it. It's gonna happen no matter what. The problem that a lot of people, I think, don't recognize, like when people that do commentary or people that are influencers don't understand, is that, like, That's going to happen. You just have to stay true to your perspective regardless. You have to be unshakable and unflinching in your framework. If you think that you fucked up, it's always good to try to understand and empathize with why people are yelling at you in that moment, and then and maybe try to figure out like what you may have done wrong. And I think he's doing that here. So we'll see. Once again, only time will tell. But this is it's interesting because like his audience has he's the iDubbbz phenomena here. Like when iDubbbz came out and apologized, that was like very heartfelt. Took years for him to get to this point. But ultimately, I think his audience is not going to respond to this kindly. They will not.
Is like his audience that right wing now? Because I just
dude,
know
his subreddit is so bad, bro. His subreddit, like I sometimes it'll be like you. Sometimes when I go on Reddit on my phone, which is a big mistake, it'll be like, you might be interested in this, and then it'll be like a Asmongold post, like a Asmongold subreddit post, and I'll look at the comments and be like, I wonder what they're saying. And there are just like straight up 4chan, 8chan takes in there, like in mainlining it. Look at this. The first comment, you know, Hasan says the most unhinged stuff on Twitch, but he never gets mad. And when it was his birthday, the whole Twitch staff made a video congratulating him. It shows the bias. You can't have an opinion different from them, otherwise you'll be blah, blah, blah. You were not wrong. I understand what you meant. Religious extremism should not be supported. Damn, they treated Asmon like the second coming of Diddy on Twitter. We got Asmon planning to clean his room for GTA 6. Hasan interviewed an actual Houthi pirate and praised them. No bad. Let's continue.
Text message from one of my mods. They said, "Oh, I heard about the suspension. I'm sorry." And I was like, I remember I was like driving, and like, you know, you'd think that like your heart rate would go up, but if anything, I felt more relaxed. I felt like finally I have a moment to just take a step back and breathe and think for myself and just stop, just like get out of my own head. And I spent a long time like just writing basically a list of all of these things that like I think that I should be doing with my life. And this is going to be kind of the second part, by the way, of the video. Comments that I made were pretty much about religious extremism. I think it's bad, but I've categorized a lot of people in that way that was unfair. It's wrong for me to have done that. I said something that was bad. I should not have said that. I should have chosen my words more carefully. I didn't do that. I doubled down on it. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. That's pretty much, I was a fucking asshole. I'm a piece of shit. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. And so, actually, I do know what else to say. I don't like making apologies because I think words don't matter. But I do think changed actions and changed behaviors do. And so you can take my apology as hopefully better content. And if you're not seeing that, I want you to hold me accountable. Hopefully this time I won't be stupid enough to ignore it.
Is that water?
No, it's pretty dry.
So, man.
No,
Anyway,
it's probably
that was
not.
like the worst.
Let's continue.
So the second part about this is that I want to talk a little bit about like my life, my personal life, etc., and kind of some of the points that I think that I've kind of gone through to get here. So the main thing is that for the past, like I would say like 10 years or so, if you look at my life like this, I would have said 10 years ago or maybe 8 years ago, streaming was like this, right? YouTube was like this. And now I would say that my life and streaming are basically the exact same size. And what I mean by that is that streaming is my entire life. Doing this is my entire existence. And I think that the process of that has been extremely unhealthy for me. And I
take a break. Us chuds will be here waiting for you to make streaming great again. Don't worry. I'll react to DEI equals die gaming video first day back to stream. Thank God. I hope this side of you never change. All right. I'll look at what his statement on Reddit was. Okay. But
I
let's
think
continue.
that what it's done is that it's allowed me to become such a one-dimensional person that
Thank God he's going to keep doing the DEI stuff, though, because I was a little worried. That's my favorite content.
He's pro DEI, right?
Yeah. He wants.
Does he do those videos about the Tomb Raider chin?
What?
You know, that's the one the new one.
Oh, yeah. Tomb
about
Raider
how they made Tomb Raider face.
They made her mask.
Yeah.
I'm not even
anyway,
a person anymore. It's like I'm in Dark Souls, I'm going hollow or something. And I think about like all of the, you know, like I made a list of all of the things that I'm not doing in my life that I should be doing. And I was writing it down and I'm like, you know, like I'm just going and going. I'm like, oh my God, I think it'd be shorter if I transcribed the Bible. Like, this is insane. Like like whenever I have everything written down line for line, it's like, oh my God, I'm ruining my life. I've been existing and I want to, at a certain point, actually try to live my life. And I don't think that I've been doing that. And so what am I going to do? How am I going to do that differently? And what does that mean for my stream, etc.? I think that I'm going to cut down a little bit on streaming quite as much. And I think I'm also going to cut down. This is going to sound like, I hope I can say this in the right way. I feel like the main times that I laugh on my stream nowadays are when I'm laughing at other people. And I look back on videos that I did from 2020, 2016, and 17, and yeah, I've always been an asshole, but holy shit, I've been way more of an asshole. It's insane. And it's a night and day difference. And I've had, again, everybody in the world telling me this, including my own dad, and I've just ignored them. And finally, it's like, you know what? Maybe I'm an asshole. Maybe this is too far. Maybe I need a course correction, which is why I think that like getting suspended in this, I hope that it's one of the best things that's ever happened to me. And I don't know whether that's going to be true, but I'm going to try to do things differently.
Is it a permanent ban?
Make sure to live up to that.
No. Twitch bans people for sometimes they permanently ban people, but
I know, but
usually
I know that's very
it's
unusual.
for 14 days. It's for 14 days.
Reality. And so what are those things that I'm going to be doing differently? The first thing is that I think I'm going to try. I've been very much trying to like maintain a consistent schedule with my stream, and I will continue to do that. I want to get up and go to bed at relatively the same time. I want to live a normal life, and also I want to spend maybe a little bit less time streaming, and I want to spend more time creating my own videos and doing my own things and spending time on things that I really enjoy, and basically just like expanding my existence as a person. I think that ever since I started like OTK and I got involved with that, and then we had like other Starforge and like Mad Mushroom and Mythic and everything, like honestly, it's been too much for me to handle. It's been completely too much for me to handle, and I've been losing my mind dealing with it, and I try to hide it the best I can because, you know, I try to do the best, right? I try to do my best. It doesn't matter how hard it gets, you just keep going, it doesn't matter. And eventually it does matter. And I think that I've negatively affected a lot of them. And I also don't want to talk about that just in the context of just like this recent controversy. I want to talk about this in the context of the last 2 years. I think that I haven't really been able to fulfill my responsibilities as a leader in a lot of cases to them. And I think that I've let a lot of people down. And
Muslim revert arc incoming. Yeah, he's gonna say the Shahada.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, he's gonna do he's going to the Hajj, dude. He's going to visit the Kaaba, and he's reverting to Islam. Brother Asmon, he will see Jannah.
There have been things that I've done that are positive as well, but I think that one thing this thing has taught me.
Yeah, from Asmongold to Asmongold. Yeah.
This whole situation has taught me, it's made me realize, is that I need to get myself in check. I need to get my mind under control. I need to, like, just get my life I need to fix my life. Like
he says this on his Reddit
it's insane.
Post too.
Like I think about it and it's just
like talks about living with
shambles.
his mom and all that shit.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you right now, I called this. I did. It's just you dove into like waters that are treacherous, and it got too hot. You know, that's just how it is.
Everything about my life is basically. And I'm going to take a step back from all of that. I'm going to step away from my leadership position and OTK and Starforge and everything. I want to, and they're fine with that. They respect that, and I want to do this. And I want to do this not only for them, but mainly for myself, so I can be a better version of myself for everyone.
He really has two paths.
I want to apologize
Convert
to all you guys,
Islam,
my
or
viewers.
like the Jordan Peterson thing.
What is this? Oh, you found it? All I could find was you sort of warning him that at the end of the convo you had on the student protest saying that there is a more cost to covering this stuff. I mean, yeah. There's definitely more of that. There's definitely more of a price than just people getting mad at you, but it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
But all right, well, I gotta go pee, but no, that's this isn't it. There's a point where I can't recall exactly where it was, but there was a point where I just straight up said, it wasn't when I was talking to him, but I said that this is a space that is going to that is going to hurt your fucking mental health no matter what. When you enter this field with like very obvious like political perspective, you automatically are going to have people not be charitable to you. And sometimes you're going to say things that that don't deserve any charitability anyway. And he did say something that like went above and beyond. And when you do that, it is going to inevitably start eating away at your consciousness. I see myself as someone who always tries to balance themselves out by like hanging out with normal people, going outside, a practice that some of my haters have considered brown facing. Did you see that one?
What?
This was really funny.
What? Because you get like a tan, and that means you're doing brown face by
look
being
at
outside.
Look at. If you want to understand the mentality of like,
I think Hasan has been trying to make himself browner for his audience, performing brown face through lighting or filters. Look at him before. Yo, this is the like every accusation is a confession. You saw that Shai Davidi thing? How like he said like somebody recently like referred to him as like, oh, this white professor, and then he replies, I'm not white. I'm not white. And then fucking like immediately somebody pulls my like, you know, like a few months ago he was happy to call himself white. Like this is that's crazy.
Yeah.
Turkish people are always brown to me. I'll let you know. You'll always have your back on that.
I say I'm white. I consider myself to be white. And I think part of that is because like as a socio-political construct, like growing up in Turkey as a Turkish man, there was no like I was not a part of like an out group, you know what I mean?
Also, like America is like one of the countries where like race is like so publicly constructed along the color line. You know, like it's a pretty like it's which is why people are going insane, as evidenced by.
But this is but this is like pretty funny that this guy basically was just like, I don't know what it looks like when someone goes outside. Like only this is like an admission. You know.
That I don't think I've lived up to that. I think that I can be a lot better than what I am right now. And I don't even think that I've been putting in half the effort that I should be in the way that I should be. And I'm sorry. And so my plan is to, when I get unbanned, I'll keep streaming regularly, right? And I want to focus more on trying to do things that are fun, trying to laugh more with people rather than at people.
Because
I'll still laugh at people every once in a while, okay? Like let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But it's about a focus, and it's about it's about a tone. I listened to my tone in the clip, and I just sound like such a piece of shit. Really, at the end of the day, I sound like a piece of shit. I sound like a terrible person, and it's just so mean-spirited and callous and just mean. And I don't want to be that person anymore. And I've spent a long time growing up. The time I did, I was an r/atheism enjoyer. I have a very negative opinion of a lot of religions. I've had the experience firsthand of the negative effects of Christianity and the way that I view that. And I've always read a lot of very bad things about Islam. And I've made a lot of
always read a lot of very bad things.
I've talked to a lot of people about it. I've heard a lot about it, and I've been like watching things about it, and I've been like hearing people telling me this is the way it is, but I've never seen it. And I actually think that after all this, I think towards the end of next year, I think I'd like to visit one.
I'm happy to call that shot. He
is Middle East and see it for myself.
He's gonna, bro. He's reverting, dude. Shia Islam, though. Okay, I'm Sunni.
Yeah, no.
As a Sunni, I'm saying this. Okay,
you gotta buck the winning team, dog. Go Shia.
You gotta go Shia. Okay, you gotta go Shia Islam.
Yeah,
it's just like that's the way. That's
for
the
a
method.
historical perspective, right? I would love to go to Istanbul in Turkey.
Oh, he's getting a hair transplant. Inshallah, brother.
Oh man, he's gonna be. Dude, when I went to Istanbul, I love going. Istanbul's like my favorite place. When I went there last time,
I can't go, but but hey, listen, I tell everybody if you definitely go visit.
well,
it's
no,
awesome.
I'm already visualizing it with the hair with the little pricks to re-stimulate those follicles. Like
he's doing Turkish. He's gonna go Turkish hairlines.
Oh, he's gonna go to hammam. He's gonna get the whole thing.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Osmangold.
Asmongold lion of wow.
No ulterior motive there at all. But
he's held his head. He's doing it.
I'd love to visit places like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, any of the other places. I mean, the truth is that, and this is the worst thing about what I said. Some of the places.
Yeah, bro's gonna go to Saudi Arabia and be like, I was right, actually.
Yeah, oh, wow. Yeah,
everything I said about Islam.
Well, yeah, he goes to Dubai and he sees like 50 million slaves imported from Southeast
slaves.
Asia.
They have slavery. What is happening? There's other places you can go to, man.
Yeah, there's go to Cairo maybe. I mean, also not such a happy place, but like lots of Muslim people who live there who are not Wahhabist.
Yeah, dude, he's gonna. Oh my God, he's gonna revert to Islam, and then he's gonna have to wash himself 5 times a day, dude. This is literally
the room.
It's the perfect
the room
religion.
is gonna go very simple. He's gonna have
It's the perfect religion for him.
It's such a good arc for him.
It's the perfect religion for him.
I think I'm with this.
Oh, Osman Alton.
Places that I would want to visit, I might not be able to because of the way that they're just the internal strife, the actual literal wars that are going on, people being literally killed there, and I might not be able to do that. But I want to do it, and I want to see it for myself.
If Michael Rappaport can make it to Israel, you can definitely go to the Middle East.
Tell me. And I think that when
Michael Rappaport can make it to Israel. He can go to the Middle East. He just can't go to certain parts of the Middle East.
Go to any other country.
Yeah. Like I would love to go visit the West Bank, or I would love to one day be able to go to Gaza. I just don't think that I will be able to do that anytime soon, nor will I be able to go there. And let's just say I saw what happened to another Turkish American that did go to the West Bank, and then I saw how America handled that situation after she got assassinated. Kind of puts into perspective what that looks like when so many Zionists were coming in here and be like, come to Israel, you will see.
I mean, it's crazy because the best protection that you can have in visiting the West Bank is to be like me and be Jewish, and it's true. It is not as easy or especially these days necessarily as safe a thing. No, it's bad.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about Aisha Ezgi.
When I do, I end up being a fool, and I want to see it. I want to see it for myself, and I want to experience it, and I want to live my life. And I'm going to try to clean up part of my house. I'm going to try to do this, and I'm not going to hire a cleaner. As I said, I was raised Roman Catholic. I view this as a penance. And I think I need to do this for myself. I need to take accountability for bad things that I've
Catholic,
done.
They also have indulgences.
And for letting my life get this out of control. And I don't need to get out of jail free card.
Meaning more just
I need to do that for myself.
I mean, if I'm one of his fans
for my
who
own
watches this,
as well.
and I'm not somebody who's bought in on all the atheism stuff, but I was there because I wanted to see him do Blackwing Lair or whatever in WoW.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't granted, I'm fundamentally very skeptical of people changing their stripes and stuff in this way. It's a hard public thing, and the people who do it successfully are usually they're not initially very public about it. It's a thing that they become public about after they've done work in a private capacity or whatever, learning or whatever.
But it doesn't even matter. Even if you do the work privately behind closed doors, and then the moment that you come out openly, people still, there's going to be plenty of people who who will never look at you the same. They will be like, no, I remember all the shit that you said. Fuck you. And there's going to be a shit ton more people in your fan base that are going to be like, fuck you. You went woke. They transed you. They made you trans. You just gotta push through it. Because I do think that genuinely, when you are honest with yourself and when you actually go through this change, okay, when you go through this change internally and you have this moral compass that you follow, you will literally be a happier person. You will be a liberated person. You will feel more free.
And that's what he's describing. You know, to be fair, like that is what he's describing here. To, you know, like I think that like what he is saying aspirationally is the thing that, like, yeah, you know, this was a wake up call. I should focus and do on other stuff and focus on learning and what have you, as opposed to being like a guy who, you know, like yammers without thinking necessarily.
Yeah. Do you think he will genuinely change his mindset? Only time will tell. Because the way I see it is if you are very susceptible to the way the winds blow within your fan base, and they are overwhelmingly yelling at you to go in a certain direction, there is a high likelihood that you will want to go back to the comfortable territory, the comfortable waters of like being admired by your fans, rather than go through the initial treacherous waters of being hated by all of those people, because no one is going to be accepting. That's the reality. When you slant yourself in this right-wing fashion, when you're cutting content in this like very obviously right-wing culture war, when you're feeding into this right-wing culture war narrative, and you cultivate a fan base like this, when you find yourself in an honest moment and say, oh, this is not me. I don't like where I am. I don't like where I am. I don't like the way that I present myself online. I don't like the way that my mentality is shifted. And you come out and you say, I'm sorry, I fucked up. I'm going to, I'm going to be different. Okay. I'm going to present myself in a different way. I'm going to try to learn more. Like, I fucked up, I acknowledge it. People that are supposed to be receptive to that are not going to, because they remember, one, this switch is too fast. So that's number one. Number two, people are not going to be receptive to that because they remember what you said last week or the week prior or for the months leading up to this. It's not exactly like a warm, welcoming space.
I mean, I will say, though, is like a kind of like there's a certain amount of aspiration in this, as opposed to like recognizing what the reality is, which is much closer to what you're describing. But I do think that, you know, part of one of the things about the passage of time, and if somebody sticks to good behavior and, you know, let's say hypothetically that he absorbs a lesson from all this, then like it's not real. The question sort of ceases to be, or like the issue ceases to be like, oh, are people going to forgive him? Are they going to, you know, and it'll be more instead like, will the things that he did in the past be the things that define him in the future, you know, broadly? Like, you know, just like when the name comes up, what is the first thing that people think of? Is it going to be guy who has gamer moments, or is it going to be guy who has like, you know, like 80,000 concurrents because he cleared WoW or whatever, and it's, you know, cleared a WoW raid quickly? Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is this, okay? He has everything to gain from continuing and not doing a course correction, like changing his trajectory, and nothing to benefit from apologizing and saying that she's like reflecting on it. He's reflecting on his past behavior. And the path ahead of him is going to be awful for the most part because of all the shit that he's done over the course of the past couple of years, all the things that he said.
That's a good point. It's not just this thing. It's like there's an accumulative effect.
So, like I will always be open-minded to people who say that they are going to change, that they're going to alter the way that they view the world and develop empathy. I'll always be understanding. Only time will tell. We will not know. Okay, that's it. That's my take on it. Having said that, however, apparently he said that he was, going to keep doing the woke DEI content.
That's not dehumanizing at all.
As a Muslim, I hate this ban. I completely disagree with his points last night, but to ban him and not ban people with the exact same opinions just about the other side will just radicalize and create more hate. This is my favorite type of person online who's just like,
Have you ever considered that we treat both sides?
Yeah. Dude apologized harder than the doctor suspect. I don't even know what he did. 20 minutes in one shot. Sounds like a legit apology video to me. There has never been a war in the history of the world that is...
I love that. No. The best part about that comment is the guy's handle. Sig P229.
Yeah.
Okay, gun nut.
There's never been a war in the history of the world that has not resulted in innocents being harmed. That is a straight up fact.
My YouTube handle is literally a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, gun guy. I'm sure you believe it.
Yeah.
Bro got canceled in cleaning his room.
Lamau.
Yep.
Okay, so he wrote a post 35 minutes ago, I guess, or now an hour ago. Why apologize? Because it was R-worded to use Palestinians interchangeably with religious fanatics and terrorists. Obviously, not all people in Palestine are trash. It's really not that complicated. Also, it wasn't just that issue. Don't let yourself become ideologically captured by a worldview to the point where it makes you so unreasonable that you turn into what you're fighting against. No one wins when I stand behind a statement that's a false or a mischaracterization. My fucking dad, HasanAbi head, it's true. That literally is true. Told me over a year ago I was getting too harsh on my stream and I ignored him. Same with a lot of real life friends. I think I've just been increasingly more hostile and negative, and that brings a bad vibe to the stream. A good comparison, Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero playthrough versus Wulong playthrough. Basically what I'm trying to say is I want more Sparkling Zero playthroughs and I never want to play Wulong again. Wait, what?
I have no idea.
Wulong was amazing. What the Okay, that's the worst take I've heard from him this week, dude. What the Hey, yo. Oh, Wulong, not Wukong. Oh.
What's Wulong?
I don't know. I thought he was talking about Asmon has tasted the politics viewer counts. He will never be the same. Yeah, I don't think he understands that he stepped foot into a very treacherous field, though.
There you go.
There it is.
There she is.
There it is. Thank you, Lil Bear. Lil Bear did it. The chronicler. A field that will not be kind to him. So, like, currently, gamers watching him do political commentary will go the distance, but I don't know if he'll want to continue it. Kinder than it is to you, lol. Yeah, but all I'm going to say is this area, this space that I exist in is a very... Oh, it's Wukong, but L instead of W to signal he disliked it. Yeah, notice how this is from when I was covering the RNC and I look much whiter there. Maybe I was doing whiteface on that day. Very treacherous one. It's significantly worse. Like, significant. No, Wulong is an actual game.
Wolong, somebody's saying.
Okay, I don't care. All right, we're done. We're done. We're done. Okay, I don't care. Oh, Wolong Fallen Dynasty. Oh, this game. Yeah, I heard this game. Wait, was this game bad?
The game received generally favorable reviews with praise for its combat system.
Okay, significantly worse than doing courtroom analysis on the Johnny Depp stuff.
Secret Service are going to have to answer in the coming weeks. And then the other issue, obviously, is
the vibes and feel of the stream recently has been a lot more tense, and a lot of that is my fault. If you think that means my first stream back is going to be playing Dustborn and promoting Sweet Baby, I think you'll be very disappointed. Okay, first of all, Dustborn is a banger. We played it for as much as I physically could without losing my mind. And I am, so that is a signifier that he's like still, he's not been captured by the woke mob.
He's not going to play itch.io games on stream.
Yeah,
let me tell you.
Sweet Baby Inc. is like, is what a lot of these gamers hate because like they think that they're doing DEI to games. I'm not changing anything other than trying to be more positive and less mean spirited. Also sponsor had nothing to do with, this wasn't even the top 5 worst things I've said. I wanted to, it's true. It could be in the top 5.
I think context is a lot. Like, I think the reason people are super upset about this was that, like, you said this, like, the same week that, like, we saw somebody burned to death, like, in an IV, like, a 19-year-old burned to death, with an IV attached. Like, yeah. Like, that's what, like, it's, like, perhaps it's not in the top 5 worst things you've ever said. I hope that it is, for your sake. But, like, that's why people are mad. And anyway, that's an aside.
I want to step away from leadership and take a break from all that for a while now, over 1 year, because the amount of commitments compounded on top of maintaining my streaming schedule was unironically ruining my life. Also, if I'm not involved with them, why would it matter what I say? Hopefully, y'all can see how this really is a macro issue and not just this situation. My life has actually been for a while now, and I need to fix it. I'm a 34-year-old single man living in his mother's house with dead animals and garbage. Although I don't, quote, in air quotes, hate it, I don't want to die this way.
Have any feedback or questions? Ask.
Yeah. based. I think you should buy a new house, man. Get a change of scenery. It changes your life. S-Man literally called me last night at 3 a.m. trying to convince me to move in with him, lol. So yeah, he said this stuff. Yeah, he's got dead animals in his house. I think he I believe he uses his rat as a alarm clock or something. That's what I've heard. I don't even know. Asmongold is like one of those people that people say shit about him, and I'm like, that's too far. Like, I can't in good conscience like believe that.
And then he
be real. And then it's like, no, he did do that.
I live in the house with dead animals and garbage. Could be stuffed. He's in Texas, aren't they? They do that there.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see where this goes. But I think his audience, for the most part, some will be receptive, some will not. But overall, I think like if you stay true to, and if you're genuine about changing your beliefs and changing your opinion, then, only time will tell. We'll see. I think especially on this issue, he will probably change his mind, but who knows? I like that he admitted that the brain rot started him being an r/atheist regular. Yeah, some of the really good parts of that apology that I do read as sincere for the most part, especially considering that he has no fucking reason to cop to this shit at all. Is once again like talking about r/atheism, talking about how like maybe he did Reddit a little too hard, and that how like his perception changed over the course of many years of doing this kind of thing, because no one is above being primed off of propaganda, right? And I think that there's no reason to cop to it. Yeah, dude? The reason why I said there's no reason to cop to it is because look around, dude. Look around the world. That is the same reason why I was trying to tell the white people that were yelling at me when I was talking to Asmongold and being like, why are you walking him through the steps of like what bigotry is, instead of just like calling him a fucking incel nerd who is a racist over and over again?
Yeah, why'd you talk to him? Why'd you dangle him out of a building?
Yeah, instead of doing that, well, why did I do that? It's because, one, there's plenty of people in his audience that might be more receptive to my way of thinking when I'm having a normal conversation with him. And also, beyond that, virtually every single person, if you fucking step outside of like this community or any other fucking community that you exist in online, kind of is on the same wavelength as Asmongold. Okay,
well, that's a good point about
to
like
varying degrees,
because the community part of it is where it's like you can spend. I mean, a lot of these guys like sort of, and in general, I think like the right wing like pundit sphere on the internet or whatever. Like they're convinced that their audience is real life in a certain sense. Like there's like a like I don't want to paint an overbroad brush with that, but it does seem that like there's a degree to which like they start to develop senses of like what's normal, not just like what their own opinions are, whatever, but like what's viewed as normal by everybody else has become something dictated by, as he said, like it's why he emphasizes the Reddit stuff so much and explaining like why did I think this way or whatever. It's because there are all these people with this kind of media diet, and he came to think that was normal, that all that bullshit was something that is just what people believe.
Yeah. I'm an Asmongold fan that just crossed over after seeing the debate I posted on YouTube, but wanted to get this out here as well. I've been a fan of Asmongold for quite a while. Despite him saying some things I disagree with, he'd say a lot of things I do agree with, and I've never watched you because the entire community seems to despise you and make you out as a ridiculous, inhospitable person. Well, he said something now that I could never agree with, and coming over here to watch this debate with him just completely shattered any respect or agreements I have with him, and you've earned a sub from me. I'm not really a leftist. I'm sure there's some things you and I also don't agree on, but I will never agree with the genocide of people simply because of what they do. The patience and knowledge you displayed here really won me over and even educated me tenfold on the humanitarian geopolitical situation. And it angered me so much that no matter how long you stayed to try and convince him to help him see the truth of the matter, for 3 fucking hours, he just refused to take in information, actually process and internalize it. I disagree. I think he probably did process it and internalize it, but that kind of stuff doesn't happen instantly, and it certainly won't happen online in front of cameras, for the record. That is the thing that you have to also understand when these conversations take place. It's not going to change anyone's opinion or attitude in real time. Okay?
That's a good point. Hollywood is like where that happens. Hollywood and like movies and television and like, you know,
Aaron Sorkin.
Exactly. Like that's where that happens. That's not real life. Like real life is you have these things and they accumulate. And then, by the way, a crisis or something that like shakes your understanding, a shock to the system comes. And that's what allows you to think, well, hold on, now I can have a perspective shift. Something like clearly this has not been working, so I've got to see things in a new way. And who knows if the new way he sees things is in fact new. But, you know, it is like, frankly, this is often the only way that people can change their attitude about things.
I can tell you actually deeply care about these things, but I didn't get that from him at all and just pissed me off. This is serious. People should care. Children are dying for no reason. If it were happening to us over here, you wouldn't actually care who your brother in arms was. You would support them and help them protect your children, home, and country. I truly hope he processes all these things and changes and comes to an honest conclusion, not one based on saving face or money. Congrats on the new sub, man. I look forward to more content from you. This was posted before the Asmongold's apology, but yeah, that's like, that is that is why I do what I do, I guess, and say the things I say, and just even if you don't fully understand it, even if you don't fully recognize it, like there is a method to it, you know? Anyway.
And I think I need to do this for myself. I need to take accountability for bad things that I've done and for letting my life get this out of control. And I don't need a get out of jail free card. So I need to do that for myself and for my own closure as well. And I think also I want to live for the idiots out there that, you know, they're like looking to me to be a role model, right? Oh, not a good idea. But there are people that will see that and they'll think maybe to themselves, maybe I should do the same thing. And if I can do that for one person, well, I've already done it for myself. I've already done a good thing, and so it could only get better. And so that's what my plan is.
Yeah, this is also a decent take from Juniper. This is unironically a major part of how right-wingers have been able to maintain social media control for a decade now. They encourage you to be a worse person by embracing genuinely evil traits about yourself and then reward you monetarily if you do so. Never apologize to the mob. It's like, dude, apologizing is not a bad thing, okay? It's not a bad thing at all. Growth is a good thing. And I think that a lot of people don't recognize that. And a lot of people on the left don't recognize that either. And I am not one of those people. We'll see. Like I said, time will tell. I'm not like, I totally understand it. People aren't like immediately rushing to forgive Asmongold for his statements or all the things that he's said in the past. That's not what I'm trying to tell you. I'm simply stating that my suspicion, at least on this issue, is that he probably will definitely have a most likely a real change of heart. Having said that, however, I'm sure that the DEI stuff will continue because I don't think a lot of people.
The DEI's die will continue until morale improves.
I don't think that people understand that like that is the vector of radicalization that sparks your journey. That is the start of this kind of stuff.
It is like
because that's why I always try to say. Sorry to cut you off. That's why I always try to tell you, like, kill the reactionary part of your brain. Like, an example I can give you is Jank. An example I can give you is Anna Kasparian. Like, when you find yourself susceptible to right-wing framing on certain issues without thinking clearly through them, there is like, it's almost like a muscle. You're training yourself into basically subscribing to certain ideals or certain ideas or certain talking points without engaging in critical thinking. And it can be one vector of radicalization. It can be one thing, right? And that slowly but surely starts changing the way that you view everything, okay? It slowly but surely starts helping you come to conclusions on every other issue. It might start with like the crime panic. It might start with you maybe having a traumatic experience with like a homeless person or something. Like with Jank, he saw like a homeless person and then he was like, that's it, I'm done, right? And then he started being like, no, we got to do something about this crime stuff. And then all of a sudden, even if you are a very progressive person, even if you've been a champion of progressive values for 15 fucking plus years, 20 years at this point, you find yourself saying things like Gavin Newsom is releasing 75,000 prisoners in the state of California when that is obviously not the fucking reality, without like examining that statement whatsoever. And then slowly but surely, it actually seeps into other things that you might have believed in the past that you no longer are believing, and that you are more primed and more susceptible to right-wing framing on, whether it's like trans stuff or this or that, like, and it slowly takes over your consciousness, and it slowly but surely radicalizes you.
And it makes you, I mean, like, to me, like, that radicalization, a huge part of it is because what's changing is not just like, oh, my opinion on the content of this specific issue, but it's the structure of your thought. It's the idea of, it's like the cynicism and the expectation that like, oh, well, all people who are homeless and stuff, like they want to steal stuff and they're, it's consequences of choices. And if you've now, accepted that premise, if you've granted that, then you'll start like thinking about that same, you'll like that same idea, like the same set of assumptions that you'll bring to that set of, that situation will be what you bring to everything from, trans people in sports, and how that's just about people wanting to, outcompete biological females or whatever, something gross like that.
Yeah.
Like it's a very,
you will always, in the intersectionality of bigotry and the intersectionality of oppression, there is always going to be something that kind of fits the bill for you. Okay. And the right very clearly and very deliberately go back to the drawing board regularly. I'll give you the issue of trans panic stuff in the United States of America, right? When they did the bathroom bill in North Carolina, everyone was like, that's weird and gross. What the fuck? And businesses were like, we're pulling out of North Carolina. Donald Trump was pro-trans at the time in 2016. He said, Caitlyn Jenner can take a shit or piss in whichever bathroom she wants to, right? Now, that seems like a lifetime ago. That was only 8 years ago. And now, if you look at the right-wing framing on this issue, it's dramatically different. So what happened in that time frame? Republican groups like, Family Values Seminar or whatever, like all these fucking right-wing Christian nationalist groups, think tanks, looked at that situation and saw that that was not a helpful way to invoke trans panic, to create this idea that like, trans people were this like nefarious force that was destroying society. So they went back to the drawing board and they tested out and focus grouped different forms of messaging. And they inevitably landed on something that was very successful. When you say trans people are pedophiles or whatever, that is not a successful method to get normal people on board. Okay? That's not a successful method to get normal people on board with your cause. When you, however, turn around and say trans people are indecently trying to destroy fairness in sports, a concept that Americans approach, a concept that Americans understand is like the only real meritocracy in the United States of America, sports, when trans people are actually, transing themselves specifically to like win competitions. It sounds silly because it actually is silly, but that is a tested focus group message that actually stuck. And that's why they kept harping on it over and over again.
I mean, it's also because it taps into existing like biases and latent homophobia. I mean, Castor Semenya and the scandal about, this woman is supposedly too male or masculine to participate in international organized athletic competition. That preceded this trans panic. That preceded this current wave of this. And it's sort of, it's kind of a, it's a sad and scary thing because it's real regression in that like, oh, here was like a previous incident, except we're now going to make the whole culture out of this set of grievances. We're going to now like, these aren't totally unfamiliar tactics either, is my point. It's that, they will root around for it and find whichever window they can break into to dominate the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to
I gotta
rethink my life. I have had a lot of people reach out to me.
I'm going to show
people I would have never expected reach out to me in ways that I never expected. And I understand that, I'm still very critical about, religious fundamentalism, right? But when you paint with such a broad brush that you just include an entire group of people, you're just being you're being a piece of shit. It's like people said it was racist. I didn't mean it as racist, but if you listen to what I said, it's easy that you could assume that. So easy. And so I'm just a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking moron. I've been an asshole. I think that I've devolved for the last 2 years. I think that I've negatively affected other people too, in ways that I hate. I don't even hate to say this. Like I think I need to say this. I need to say it more. I've negatively affected people in ways that I regret. I think whenever I go back live again, I'll probably talk about that more. And like there's some just different people I kind of want to apologize to, and take accountability for things that I've said and done that have negatively affected other people in ways that were unfair and wrong. And that's what my plan is. That's about it. I want to say that I hope that now, after you've heard what I have to say, that a lot of you all can see kind of why I'm saying that I appreciate this. I really think that this is something I needed, and I hope that this is the next part of the rest of my life. And I want you guys to hold me accountable to that. So if I'm being a fucking asshole again, if I'm being mean, if I'm just being callous, acting like a psychopath, just treating people awfully outside of a WoW raid when they get killed by fire, but really laughing at people's misfortune, try to say, man, just chill the fuck out, stop it. Just stop. And I'm gonna do my best to listen. I spent 2 years ignoring it, and look where it got me. This is not even the tip of the iceberg of the problems in my life. And I want to thank everybody for making me aware that that's the case. And hopefully I can avoid the iceberg, right? And so I want to say that's pretty much about all I've got. I'm sorry for a lot of people I let down, not just with comments like this, but also just with the way I've been doing things in general. I think that you guys deserve a much better version of me than what you've been getting. And I hope that I can live up to that in the future. And I don't even want to think about it in the future, right? As soon as I get unbanned, the best apology is better content, change behavior. And that's what I hope to do. So yeah, anyway guys, I'm just gonna focus on myself for a while, try to improve my own life.
Someone called you Felix.
I mean, that's just anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semitism.
That's anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semitism is alive and well.
Get me ADL. I want Jonathan Greenblatt in here right now.
Who do you think Jonathan Greenblatt hates more? Anti-Zionist Jews such as yourself, or anti-Zionist Muslims such as myself?
It's a hard question, man, because it's
like he has one bullet in the gun. Who does he kill?
The Jew.
Probably, right?
Yeah, no, I feel like because you hate the thing that more resembles you. That is to
I think
me,
yeah, he's definitely killing you first.
Yeah,
for sure.
no, I'm dead. I'm done. I'm cooked.
Yeah. He's gonna try to line us back to back with one another and try to hit both of us.
He'll do the thing from what's that movie Wanted where they curl the bullet.
Curve the bullet. Yeah. This was a much more solid video than I expected it to be.
I agree, and I think it's because he didn't waste time trying to talk about like the particulars of anything he said, or even like what I meant to say. I mean, he said he tried to slice that religious extremism thing versus whatever about, but like it was also clear that like whatever this amount, like this volume that he got from these remarks, like I mean, yeah, he's very explicitly saying like my life is fucked, I got to fix it, and to me, it's like that's. Generally speaking, when anybody in an earnest, like if they're clearly speaking from the heart on that kind of thing, even no matter what kind of person they are, it is like somewhat moving because it's like, yeah, it's like somebody conceding that they're at some kind of a bottom. You know?
Yeah. Especially, like I said, you don't have to do this, especially when you're Asmongold. You definitely don't have to do this, especially on an issue that like a lot of people on the right universally agree with, and maybe even some people on the left, not left, but like liberals, agree with that. Like Islam is barbaric, and yeah, they do deserve like Israel punishing them for being barbaric. All right. On that note, we got a lot of news to cover. Vice President Harris is campaigning in Pennsylvania.